Hello and welcome back to another video tutorial from Geekatplay Studios. My name is Gary Miller, and we're continuing on with a series of tutorials on creating windows and putting them onto buildings, or placing them into buildings and creating some interesting structures. When we finished up last time, we created these mullions which go into windows and break up the outline of the glass panes. We're going to continue on now with creating some horizontal mullions. I'm going to hold down the Shift key on my keyboard, press the D button, which creates a duplicate of that group, and now I'm going to rotate it into a horizontal position. Because I use the universal manipulator, which is this little tool right up here, because I use that, it allows me to use all three functions that are available when moving an object around. I can move it up, down, left, and right, forward. I can scale it, and I can rotate it. So I'm going to hold down the left mouse button and start rotating this into place. Now what I want to do is I want to hold down my Shift button, Shift key on my keyboard, and what that does is it constrains the movement of this tool to 45-degree increments. And line it up horizontally, go ahead and release. Now what I want to do is I'm going to spin around, look at the mullions from the inside of my building, because I want to scale them down horizontally. They don't need to be quite as large as they were. And that looks good. I'm going to ungroup this and delete two of the mullions. We only need one to start setting up our arrangement of mullions inside of our window frame. I'm going to come up here to Utilities tab and click on my Lay On tool, select one of the sides of my mullion, click on the inside of my window, and that lines it up right flush with the face that I had selected, which in this case was the inside of my window. In order to align these horizontal mullions properly inside of our window, we need to come up here to the Inversion On button. And again, I'm going to spin around to the inside of our window, and you'll be able to see pretty clearly what this function of the tool does. By clicking Inversion On, it places it on the opposite side of that face, and what we need it to do is place it right here underneath the surface that we initially clicked on or selected. I'm going to hit Validate to finish off that tool. Now we need to create some multiple copies to fill up this space with our horizontal mullions. And under our Utilities tab, I'm going to click on Multiple Copies. If you recall from the first tutorial, by creating multiple copies, the tool starts off creating one copy for you along the x-axis. If I hide our building here, you can see this is the copy that it created for us. And while we want a copy, we don't want it arranged along the x-axis, so I'm going to zero out the x-axis offset, and now we'll just play around with the offset in the y-axis. Let me re-enable the view of my building so we can see what we're arranging here and how many we want. Let me enable the vertical one so I can get a better visual of what it is that we'll be creating. I like the look of 5. 5 looks pretty good. Now if you recall, when we made our vertical mullions, in order to arrange these accurately inside of our window, we need to create one extra one. So I'm going to create 6 mullions here. Even though we're using 5, I need to create the 6th one in order to accurately arrange these inside. So now that we have our 6th one, we don't want it lined up here. We want it lined up right up here above the surface of our window frame. And to do that, all we're going to do now is just play with these last two digits in our y-axis, and and get it lined up correctly. 15 looks to be maybe too much. 14, nope, that's too little. We're going to go back with 15. That's the number we want. I'm going to hit validate, finish off that tool. Now this first mullion we created, it serves no purpose other than to act as a reference point to arrange the rest of our horizontal mullions. Now that we've got them arranged, we don't need it anymore, so we can delete it. I'm going to select the group of horizontal mullions, and this sixth one that we created, again, that serves no other purpose than for alignment reasons. We can delete that one. I will select the rest of my mullions, group them together, rename them. Now, I think the tendency would be to weld all of these mullions together. We've got all these horizontal ones that we've created and all these vertical ones. It makes sense to me. Why not just weld them all together, come up here to the Vertex Modeling tab and click on Weld and create one solid object out of it. It certainly would make it easier as when you're modeling, as you start gathering large numbers of objects here. The fewer objects that you have, the easier it is to wade through the mass of objects that you start accumulating. But we're not going to do that for the simple reason that we're going to run into problems into view when we finish this project and bring it into view and texture it. We're going to run into some material display issues in view. And I'll show you here, we're going to run into the same issues in hexagon. And I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to select my horizontal mullions. I'm going to create a new color for them. And I'm going to create a very light color to give some contrast between the horizontal and the vertical mullions. Now this is the problem that we're going to run into. If you look at where these horizontal and vertical mullions intersect, you see that the program is trying to display the white color in the very same location as the black color. Now these two groups of objects, one is not on top of the other. They, in fact, where these objects intersect, they occupy the exact same location in 3D space. And because of that, the program is trying to display the white color in the same location as the black color. And it simply can't do that, nor can it do it in view. So to avoid problems, texture display problems further down the road, we're going to correct this problem right now and remedy it. And we've got two options. I'm going to select my horizontal ones and try not to move them out of place. I'm going to select my horizontal ones, and we can either offset it slightly like so, or, and this is what I'm going to opt for, we can resize them. And I don't want to resize them this way. They kind of looks like prison bars here. I'm going to bring them in and make them a little bit narrower. And what this does is it takes care of the problem. Now these two groups are not occupying the same location in 3D space, and so now you don't have the problem with the material trying to be displayed in the same location. And so with that done, I'm going to select my two groups, and now I can just group them together. Mullions. By grouping them, I still have access to all the individual components in this group. Welding, on the other hand, makes one object out of all these individual components. So I've got that problem taken care of. Now we don't have to worry about it further down the road. Now, because of the, I guess, primitive displaying abilities of hexagon, you might still see some texturing or material issues as the program is trying to display these objects as I am rotating it around. As you see here, we've got a few little problems, but in reality we know that they are offset from one another, and it's just it's giving us a false indication. So you don't have to worry about it. Now what I want to do is have all these mullions occupying the inside of all of our windows. So I'm going to do that by just creating duplicates of them. By holding down the control key on my keyboard, I'm going to hit the D key, which creates a duplicate. Now I'm going to move that over and move it up slightly. I'm going to create another duplicate, move that over, make another duplicate, and move that one over. I'm going to select one of these groups. And now the reason why I moved them up is because I need to click on this face right here. If I didn't move it up, I wouldn't be able to see the face, and it would make selecting it nearly impossible. Now all I need to do is click on the inside surface of my window, just like that. The program pops it into place. Click on this group, select my mullion command, pops it into place, select this group, mullion, and pop that into place. Now I've got all my mullions perfectly aligned inside of my building, inside of my windows, and I cannot think of an easier way to arrange the mullions inside of windows than what we've just covered. It's absolutely precise, and it's extremely easy and very quick. And that's going to wrap up this tutorial. I know I realize that we didn't seem to accomplish very much, but we needed to spend some time and address the issue of our of what would happen if we didn't offset these groups of mullions as we did, and that took up several minutes of time. So that's it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching here at Geekatplay Studios. I'm Gary Miller. Have a good day.